I wanted to do a little demonstration about spinning silk off of hankies. This is my pile of hankies. You'll see I've pulled a couple of them off. It's very easy. You've got the stack here. You just separate the top stack, the top hanky off the stack, and it gives you your hanky. There's a couple of ways that you can spin these. You can separate them in the middle and pull them out and draft them out. I wanted to try spinning them just from the corner. So all I'm going to do, these are silk threads that were laid out and dried individually and then put into this preparation. And so I'm just going to pull out a little bit. You can see I've got just a few threads coming out, and it's going to start pulling. And as I'm spinning, I've got it on my highest ratio here. This is my Fricky spinning wheel, and I'm just going to get some twist into it so that when I lay this piece over the top, it's going to get caught up in that twist. See how it's just pulling in there a little bit? Now, silk threads are quite long, so sometimes you have to draft them with your hand way behind. And all I'm doing is I'm pulling a little bit of it out at a time as I'm going. As we get going into the hanky, it will pull out a little bit differently. Right now it's still kind of on the edges there. As we start getting into the center part, it will change. And I'll get a little bit of texture in there from the noils that are in the silk preparation. And that's fine because that's what I want with this. I want a little bit of texture. I'm spinning it pretty fine, kind of medium fine to very fine, depending on how it's coming out. Not quite sure, haven't decided quite what I'm going to do with this finished singles, but see, you see there's some texture. You can see it pop up on the spun part, and you can see it coming. There's another bit, and that's fine. It'll hold right in, but it'll give you a little bit of texture as you're spinning. And you're always going to have this, no matter what way you spin a silk hanky, you're going to get those noils. See, there's a bunch right there, and I can kind of regulate how much gets pulled into it by what I catch with my left fingers there. And the rest of it, I've got it on a really high twist, high ratio, so I get a lot of twist into it. And even though silk is a long staple, my experience is that it still needs quite a bit of twist in it for the singles, for it to hold together properly when you ply it into a usable yarn. And you can see here's another bunch of noils. Now I'm getting into the different colors. This was beautifully dyed silk hankies that I got several years ago at Stitches. I think that's where I got these. But you can see it was beautifully dyed, some golds and a little bit of purple and browns and green, very what I call royal colors. So it's quite a pleasure. And see, I'm going to pull my hands closer to the orifice so I can show you. I'm just pulling. I've got my hand probably 12 to 18 inches behind my front hand, which is my left hand. And I'm just pulling it out a little bit at a time and letting the twist go in and letting it be drawn onto the bobbin here. And I'm just going to keep going and see how it just beautifully mixes those colors. And here we go. And I've just got my right hand is right at the very end, so I'm kind of spinning from corner to corner on this hanky, on the square, and I'm pulling it back, and the fibers are so long they hold together with my hands that far apart, But if you try to get your hands too close together with silk, you're going to end up with horrible clumps and trying to draft it out, and too much of the fiber being held between both hands, and it gets frustrating and it hurts your hands too. So just make sure that you keep your backhand quite a bit back. Now I've got more than I want there, so I'm just gonna move my hand until I can draft it out until it's in a usable, like in the diameter that I want for this particular yarn. The lovely thing about silk, apart from the color and the sheen and the feel and all of that, is that it's so light, so lightweight, that you might buy, I think this package that I've got was 2.3 ounces, I think, and it's a ton of fiber, and I will probably end up getting, I don't know, probably 500 or 600 yards of 2-ply yarn out of this. I see there's a bit that I'm just gonna kind of pinch it in, just a little bit of a thicker group, so you can see from start to finish that's how you spin a hanky of silk. And some people find this method easier than poking your finger through the middle and drafting out ahead of time. It can be that method can be a little bit messier, but this works lovely. So I hope that helps.